Good morning. It is Wednesday, August 17th, makes it November 15th, Jason, which is very exciting. I love the French blue shirt. Or is that just the lighting?
Yeah.
Is it French blue or is it white and it's just lit weird in there?
No.
French
This
blue.
is
Love it.
French.
Love the French blue. So Jason's in Portsmouth. JV is in Portsmouth. Everyone's descending on Portsmouth. It's All Partners August that is taking place today. And we are in the training room starting at 8:59, I should say, with all the things, all the people. I believe Alice caught an early train from Yak, and our queen of culture, Dr. Kabaki, is going to be in the house,
She is.
giving you the smackdown about Maine. That's at 9. Sorry, not Maine. Massachusetts at 9. I get confused because she's in all 3 states, like so many of our talented people. So Alice has Mass at 9. Then we got Maine at 10. Is Hamilton driving that bus today?
I am
We don't know.
99% sure that is the case. Yeah,
Sure.
no, well, because I haven't been kicking around this area.
This area?
We'll talk about it.
I've been hanging out in Saskatchewan with Joey Sweat. I don't even know what am I doing down here. And then, of course, 11 o'clock, beautiful downtown New Hampshire. Then All Partners is at Nooner with the one and only princess of the company, Geoff D'Angelo. That's how it's pronounced. He loves when I say that. Joffrey's leading the charge at 12. There's going to be sustenance during that, brought to you by our good friends over at Annie Mac Home Mortgage with everybody's favorite older brother. I just say that because he's taller than everybody, and he's a pain in the ass, Brad Kelly. And then at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and God bless you, Virginia. I'm just going to say it because I think it needs to be said. I'm playing weather guy. I got to get the green screen, right? There might be some precipitation this afternoon over at the Rough for the bocce. But she's got that going on. Battle of the Brokerage. That's this afternoon, 4 o'clock. I believe it's $20 to get your face in the door, and it's all for a great cause, of course. So that's a full slate of things taking place, which is pretty cool. We're going to talk about all the things coming up over the next 30 days, really, and a lot of cool stuff coming up in September as well. One of the coolest, which we'll talk about a little bit more during All Partners today, Jason, is our friends Mike and Ryan Vizda are going to come over on Monday, September 12th, and they're going to talk about Life by Design. If you don't know, now there's it's like a tale of two cities. There are a lot of realtors that live in a van, and then there's a lot of realtors that live in a van because they chose to, right? So
Yes.
you can be in a van down by the river, or you can be doing van life. One of our very own, Joe Morey, does van life. He's all over the place, mountain biking. He's got electricity. Which is really funny. I was in North Conway, and I saw the vehicle, and that's how you pronounce that. That van's huge. It's enormous. It's a city on wheels. And I didn't realize how huge he had purchased. It's pretty awesome. Now, the Vistas are doing the same thing. Mike is a maps coach. I believe, I'm going to get it wrong. I believe he was, for the last 6 months, like in Nicaragua. And then I got a hold of them. I got a hold of Ryan. God bless her. I got a hold of Ryan, and I'm like, oh, you're home. She goes, actually, I'm not. They were actually mountain biking down in Arkansas. Fayetteville, Arkansas is right outside of Walmart, the headquarters, and there's a huge biking place there that they were at the time. But they'll be here September 12th for that whole thing.
I've been in, I'm going to say 5 or 6 of the bowls I've been in. The Havistas have been in.
Yeah.
Ryan Holman. Yeah, they are very much advocates of the program and that Life by Design. So great talent, very knowledgeable agents. I do believe he was a TL for a while, correct?
Mike did a stint in Andover, I believe, and probably one other, but I know in my heart of hearts, Andover was definitely one of his stops as a team leader. Yeah, they've got a great story to tell, and it's just to teach you about the possibilities or to remind you about the possibilities here at Keller Williams and the fact that, I mean, especially now after the advent of COVID, where major corporations like Twitter said, well, if you got dial-up and a pretty good laptop, you can work from anywhere. And they've taken that to heart, and they are. And now all of this, don't forget, this is all leveraged by the fact they have a phenomenal team back on the bricks over at Metropolitan in Bedford. They're going to come over and tell their story, so that'll be really cool. That's on the 12th, which is a Monday. They're going to be in-house in the training room. We will make it hybrid as well, and I think they're going to do 11 to 1 for us 11 to 1. So that's going to be a really cool event. So we've got some other cool stuff we'll talk about for sure. But definitely you should be heading this way. And I knew in my heart of hearts, Jason, this was the week. And then I saw a commercial and I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to kick it off. Pumpkin spice latte is alive and well. So did you get one? What do you got? Oh, you got the grande. You got the El Jefe. I got the medium. I'm watching my figure because nobody else will. So yeah. So pumpkin spice lattes here. So grab your caffeine. Head in for contracts. We're going to be in the training room from 9 to 12 doing all the contracts, and then above and beyond that, we have the all partners meeting just after 12 o'clock. Now, when we get to contracts, what do you and JV think is going to be most talked about?
Well, there's going to be JV's going to probably open the room up with just some general stuff that we've been seeing as far as deeds becoming a major issue again, and the speed of the market. And we understand what you guys are being forced with, especially as a buyer's agent. You guys are having to get your offer in still at pretty fast speeds compared to what I would call a normal or a flat market. But just reading deeds and making sure we have the right ones. And then we're gonna touch base really quick on the land stuff. Land deeds are becoming an issue because people can put parcels of land together. So if the Lindsays own their home on 2 acres and you buy your neighbors, you could put it on your deed as tract 1, tract 2. But when you're conveying said tract 2, not the Lindsay home, you got to call that out because the title companies, they just see that you're selling book and page, book 27, page 55. That's
they think it's all of it. Yeah.
They think, all of it. And that becomes an issue at the closing table when that's not right. So we need to remember that, when we're doing this stuff, we got to map block and lots and that sort of stuff. So we're going to be talking a little bit about.
If I add my in-laws, are they track 3 and track 4? How do I do that if I throw the in-laws in?
No, they are codependent. That's not able to be written off 3 and 4.
Can you see me at the closing table? I'm leaving the John Deere and the senile individuals in the house. They're going to be fine.
The cellar dwellers.
It's going to be great. I love them so much. Here's a sidebar for you. So we have the Ring doorbells all over the house.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, my in-laws are retired. They could work, Jason, dear Jason, they could work on the yard anytime. It's like when I'm home, they are, and I call it toiling because I don't really see any improvement in the front garden. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of, I don't know what's happening. Their definition of what a weed is and what should, it's, and they're green thumbs. Don't get me wrong. They're trying to save everything. There should be more pulling and throwing. But anyway, it's free labor. So I'm not going to argue.
Here's that.
That being said, they're meandering in the hedges in front of the doorbell at our front door. So about 38 times in, when they're like, there's movement at the front door, because Ring just keeps telling you there's somebody at the front door. So I turn down the Alexas. Then after a little while, she resets and goes back to normal volume. There's movement at the front door. And I think, because the world's against me, they're doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
They're like, Saturday after 2, Tim's home from golf. Let's go not weed the garden. And they're just walking back and forth in front of the front door to set that thing off. Just trying to watch golf. Just trying to be old and angry. That's all I'm doing. Give me a break. I'm doing all right. We're 7 minutes into the quick start. I'm complaining about my in-laws. Yeah, anyway, they're a pleasure. It's so good. It's so good. We do want to remind you too, and I confirmed with the powers that be, and you're thinking, is he talking about Nate? Is he talking about Jeff? Let's get this straight. Nate owns the company. I'm going to use my spirit fingers here. Jeff runs the company. He's going to punch me later for that. But Kaylee's in charge of the money. Yeah. So when I say I check with the powers that be, I asked Mom. And I just wanted to make sure. I knew we were doing it anyway, though. And I'm going to say this, and I also don't want you guys to avoid leaning in and grabbing your own ticket, although we don't want to make it cost prohibitive for anybody to be part of what's going on this coming week. So that being said, in Portsmouth and in Meredith, in the respective training rooms, Mega Camp is going to be on the big screens. So why are we telling you this? Because if you have an opportunity to come to the buildings and grab your pumpkin spice latte on the way in, right? Mega Camp historically has always been just main stage stuff. And in the last few years, they started to add breakout sessions like they do during family reunion. That's gone by the wayside. They're back to just the main stage stuff. So ultimately, the big screen stuff is going to be, stay with me on this, Tuesday, the morning session, the afternoon session. And it's just Gary on stage rolling the dais with mega agents from all over the country talking about what their one thing is and how they're printing money. So to come to either the training room in Meredith or in Portsmouth and camp out with your fellow agents and mastermind around what you're hearing and take copious notes. There'll be a quiz on Friday. I'm just kidding. Maybe there will be. I don't know. And then Wednesday is a morning session. And then after that, they typically do an inspirational morning. Mo Anderson, who is, she's the Alice Kabaki of the entire company. Alice is our queen of culture, and Mo is the queen of culture for the entire company. She does an inspirational morning, and she will share awesome Red Day stories, awesome culture stories from all over the country. And then everybody's going to get on their planes and fly home. I believe we're heading back on Wednesday night. So I will be here probably with a larger one of these on Thursday morning. So that being said, please know that Tuesday and Wednesday in the respective training rooms, if you don't have your digital ticket, you can come enjoy the content on the big screen. The reason I think you should get a digital ticket is you have access to that content for 60 days after Mega Camp, if that's important to you. And pricing right now, I believe, and I could be wrong, might be wrong, and you can check in a second, megacamp.kw.com. I believe the conference ticket is now at $6.99. I believe the digital ticket is at $1.99. So we want everybody to take part. So they are going to be in the respective training rooms on those 2 days. That is next week. It is Mega Camp, which is horrifying because now we're going to get to Labor Day, Jason, and then I'm going to say to somebody and they'll be like, oh, you're just screwing around. It's going to be Pi Day in about 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then we're like, oh, my God. And then we're family reunion, and then it's going to be Red Day, and then we're back here celebrating that it's mid-August and we're drinking pumpkin spice latte. It's very exciting. Very exciting. What do you think the biggest challenge? We're talking about a skill-based market where we've moved into, and again, and I know everybody feels differently about this, and I sort of don't care. The shift is not a singular event. The shift is always happening. It's the speed of the shift, right? And we know that if our boat is moving slowly in one direction right now, it's back towards a buyer's market. It's not flying, but it's heading there. We are at least turning to head in that direction. And we're going to get into a skill-based market. And you guys have heard me over the last few weeks, and Jason and I have talked about this. And it's a lot of people that came into the industry, said with love, in the last 24 months, Jason, that came into a marketplace where you were like, oh, HGTV was like not completely off base. They came into a market where you were allowed to be an order taker. And then our talented agents really benefited off that because there was an opportunity that just as it was almost like getting in one of those glass cases with the dollars flying around. If you could grab them, yeah. If you could grab them, the best thing to do is open your shirt and just stuff them in. But not that I've ever done it. I've seen pictures. So the best thing to do is just be able to grab the deals. And if you were able to do that, you captured more than most. But now that's eroding. Are we getting back to the skill set of just having the conversations and doing more? So if you're underwhelmed right now, and this is a quote that I stole from Alexis up in the Dow Group, phenomenal. Maybe a year and a half ago, Jason, she's like, Timmy, I'm overwhelmed by the underwhelm. And what she meant was she was currently underwhelming herself because she didn't have anything going on. And she knew who was not to blame for that, but who was responsible for that. So if you're feeling like, hey, things have changed, maybe your activities more than anything else have changed because your activities before were more of just sort of like playing net. The pucks are going to come flying at you. Can you stop them? As opposed to go out and hunt for the puck. So in a skill-based market, what's the most important thing? If I'm an agent right now and I know I've maybe got a little more time in between deals to sharpen my sword and lean into education, what's the most important, besides the obvious today from 9 to 12, what's the most important thing an agent should be doing to prepare for the next wave of madness?
So I would say minus today, because Nate talked about this at his mastermind. Nate said that if you're not extremely well versed in contracts, where I would say Nathan's version of extremely well versed is to be able to debate a contract with somebody like me or Jen or Nathan. You know what I mean? At a level where we all go, oh, that's pretty good. You know what I mean?
Without it in front of you.
Without it in front of you, yeah, right. Because the other day I was actually helping an agent, and they're like, "Are you reading that?" And I'm like, "No, I'm actually running at the Dover High School track." So nope. That's my job. I'll be honest with you. I'm more versed in it in the last year and a half than I was the previous probably 5 years. I mean, I've always gone to contracts class, but you need to really know what's going on with these contracts, because they are starting to see some weird in the market. We're starting to see, for instance, a manufactured home company is using an entry only company and only paying $500 on a $400,000 new home. So, how do you get around your buyer agency? So I would say knowing the contract, knowing what it means, and scripting. I will tell you that scripting changed Keller Williams in 2009, 11, when that market crashed. Bold came out. That's what Bold started.
Yep.
The script, we were all like this when the scripting came out. Like, oh my God. Like, I think the scripting is probably the best kept secret we have. We all know about it. Every salesperson will tell you they know scripts, but do you? Can you get in a room with Tim Lindsay and have a conversation and try to beat him with a script? You know what I mean? Like it's you always say it, that it's not the silver tongue, because somebody said that Tim's a silver tongue. I'm like, no, Tim uses script so that he can think about what he's going to say to the hard question you're asking. You're asking a question, he's going to give you the script up front and then hit the objection or handle the objection, whatever it may be. It is a way for you to gain 5 to 15 seconds in a conversation, which is all you really need to come up with something, compared to going, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I would say contract and scripting is number one. I will tell you that most agents will buckle down in marketing, and Gary and anybody in business will tell you, start cutting back on your marketing, right? Cut back on your marketing and get better at your contracts and your conversations. And I would say between scripting, I would go contracts 1, scripting 2, and then 3, communication. If you're not actually physically talking to people, that is the number one problem we're facing right now. It's through text messaging. And in Bold, they teach you this: I didn't say Bob took it. And they emphasize whatever word it is.
Yes.
I took it.
I didn't say Bob took it.
Yeah.
I didn't say Bob took it.
Right.
Yep.
So it's one of those things, like, I don't know how you're going to read my text. You know what I mean? Because if I write, I didn't say Bob took it to Tim, Tim could read that as Jason didn't say Bob took it. Jason didn't say Bob took it. Jason didn't say Bob took it. You know what I mean? So a conversation, tonality is huge. I had a really good friend that said, I hate text messaging. I like to talk to people and I want to hear their tone. Their tone tells me more than anything. And a phenomenal salesperson actually sells cars, sells about 40 a month, which in the car world, that's big, that's deep. And they're like, I'm
it's like a slow quarter for Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where tone is huge. So I agree with, this is all the stuff you're learning at Bold, right? So you can save the $800 and we just taught you Bold right there. But yeah, communication. I will tell you that it's talking to your clients and not texting is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I think that's going to be the care and skill. I piped into the real estate commission the other day, yesterday, as a matter of fact. The hearing was yesterday, and there was hearings going on yesterday. And they kept bringing up communication. Communication. This is a word we're hearing a lot at the legal level, right? So, like, communication with a client will get you even, and I hate to say it, even if you're kind of wrong, like if you're a new agent, you don't want to say something, being kind of wrong or saying, hey, I'll get you that information is better than not dealing with a client at all. Legal obligations is huge in care and skill. It's what they're preaching up there. And Nate says it all the time. The commission is not there to help you. They're there to take your license away.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time.
The public, right? Like, we get a license from the governor, and they are there to make sure you're doing your job, and they protect the public.
Yep.
It was really great to hear. If you've never seen a hearing go on, and I will tell you that when you start listening to these hearings and you start hearing what some of these agents have done, and I would never do that. I would never do that. Hear the position they were put in when they decided to make that decision. And understand that we train at a different level here. It was very apparent yesterday that this agent, under 2 brokerages, had 0 training. And I don't know what happened. Their deliberation will come out in 30 days. The notice will come out. But I will tell you that the agent's probably going to lose their license, from what I heard. And it all because a younger agent, not a younger person, but a younger agent in their career, didn't understand some of the processes of moving their license and renewing it, and nobody was there to help them, and they wind up going 6 months without a license and doing deals. So
such a great point. Yeah,
what we have here. I mean, I'm not going to tote me and Jen, even though I personally think we're the greatest broker team in probably America. But Brittany Goodell and what she does for us is insane.
Yep.
Absolutely insane. The stuff that lady can do and knows how to do.
Yep.
Nathan has put people in roles where the care and skill of his level is just Kaylee, Jeff, you Brittany, Jason Houle, Colin D'Agostino, everybody at their level is really, really super impressive. And when I talk to other agencies, or I talk to, I'm at the commission, or I'm at NHAR, sorry. And I hear other people
Nahar.
talking.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'm just like, you guys don't have a compliance team? They're like, no. I'm like, you guys don't have a director of licensing? No, that's up to the agents. And I'm like, and it is, right? Legally, it's up to you to make sure you license. But it's always that email that says, hey, man, in 30 days, you're in trouble. Get your classes done.
Yeah, Brittany saved my ass this year. Yeah. And you should remember it like clockwork. And I've been saying it since my freshman year, I'm never going to drive to Concord last minute. And you don't. You do it online now. But does it get late? It certainly does. And a couple things you mentioned that I want to run through. You talked about, I asked you, what would you be working on? And, you ultimately talked about the database, first and foremost. Open it, build it, feed it, communicate with it, and then service the leads that come from it. Gary's 5 jobs, right? We're talking about lead gen, lead follow-up, and then go on appointments, negotiate contracts, script, and role play. And to your point, too, about the power of us having conversations is so important.
It's huge.
The level of bad information that's going around right now, either past negative from their friends who sold their house for $8 million over ask 6 months ago, which was light years ago now in real estate, or what is perceived as current negative information or scare information coming from the news, that when they talk about it, when you watch a report later this month, they're going to show that it's NAR, National Association of Realtors information from July.
Right.
So the news is giving you 30-day old. And what do we talk about here all the time? The market of the moment.
Yep.
And so getting back into your conversations and the power, to Jason's point, of speaking with someone, right? 7% is the words we choose, 43% is the tonality, 50% is body language. And I'll say it again because Jason touched on it, and it's so true. We have a great brand at Keller Williams. The company as a whole has a great opportunity, and they get to explore the space of really doing whatever they want to within the parameters of the law as ownership groups. The beauty of our ownership group is it's one guy, and he's here, and he still has his license, but he used to do what you guys do every day, and that makes a difference. And you go down to Texas, and Gary feels the same way. Gary says on the back of his gravestone, it's going to say realtor. He's not a guy who just started, pick a company, any company. There's one in town that just started a real estate company because it felt like a good idea. They're not doing well. We talked about our friends that claim they have a sense of direction. It's in their very name yesterday. They're not doing well because they didn't start foundational with systems and models and actually care about the consumer first. So when you hear us say, I say this all the time, Jason, right? An embarrassment of riches here. And there's a lot of stupid out there. And that kid you talked about that got himself in trouble. And a lot of the kids that get themselves in trouble, it's unfortunately because who they chose to go to work with in the first place, who they decided to be powered by in the first place, didn't have their best interest in mind, right? They gave them, it's almost like when you go and you play skee ball and you get all the tickets at Fun Spot, and then you're like, what does this get me? A big pencil with a huge eraser, right? They were given some equity ticket. They were told they could cash in 7 years, which we know won't be good. They were given some check that seemed great in the moment. Or they were given a list of promises, maybe all three. So the fact that, I start a lot of my statements with, I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you guys. And you're probably going to hate most of what we say because we're delivering the truth on a regular basis. You guys are in the best possible place. And I would argue inside of KWRI 463 is screwing up. If Nate was in the room, I'd say this. If Gary was in the room, I'd say this. We are screwing up. You might want to change. If we were alone, I'd probably use a different word. We are screwing up faster than everyone else on purpose.
Failing forward.
Because the faster we slam our face into the ground and get back up and Lewis and Clark this shit, the more impressive we will be, light years ahead. Gary has a shirt. I wish he'd wear it again. It was based on the tech, and we should get them for our market center. It was a bottle of ketchup with like the last little drop coming up, and it just said there is no ketchup. You guys are leaps and bounds in front of the rest. They're never going to catch you. So I know you may be tired. You might be fried. Make one more call today. Do not coast on this, because what you gain during the shift, you will never relinquish, and what they relinquish during the shift, they will never regain. And it's our job to kick everyone's ass, take everyone's names, and serve the clients at the highest level. That's our job. If you're here to do anything else, I'd love to explore the conversation with you. It's all about the client. It's all about the consumer. We are here to serve the public. And you guys can get paid obnoxiously by doing so, because you're paid in direct correlation with the amount of people that you help. Never feel bad about the huge checks you're bringing home to your loved ones. You earned that. And we're proud to be in business with you. We will see you in 60 seconds in the training room or on KellerTV.com. For Jason Westcott, Tim Lindsay, and the whole staff here at 463, we're thrilled you're playing with us. And I'm asking you today to play a little bit harder. Have a great day.